not living the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer is completely dysfunctional. So, all the people that are symbiotic, like me in my life, are dysfunctional. Isaac's symbiotic to me. Jordan wants to be, yeah. He listens to it, he drinks it up, and he's like, "Oh, this is genius. It's brilliant." But they won't let us do it. They'll kill us, and that's Jordan's thought process. You know. And Elijah, he just no. It's a lot like Ted Kennedy with Jack and Bobby. Yeah, you can see the sequencing. It's like sequences. It's like, yeah, I told you they were a lot like the Kennedys. They really are. Yeah, they are. And it's just genetic sequencing. It's just people that have similar genetics. It yeah, there must be some kind of relative like with the Marleys. There's generic sequencing, and then there's order of sequence, and then there's the it's typically one of the oldest that, yeah, we need to do this, and then no, we'll all get killed, and then and it's different. Well, I think Alex is like a firstborn amongst, I'm not sure, but I get from him too. So it's interesting. I get a lot of this stuff. It's really hard on the kids. The Marley kids, what helps is like with Buddy Pritchard is the herb, the marijuana. It keeps them in a state of being that makes them less angry, and I totally can relate to that. Um, I'm the Prince of Peace. Oh, they isolate me. They couldn't introduce me to the president. Okay, where's the people that own this dog? It keeps crapping on the carpet. We gotta build a dog run outside and a doghouse. Okay, keeps crapping on the carpet. It marks his territory everywhere. Something wrong with this one. You can't keep it. It's like pebbles. And so it's been declawed. And so, yeah. And no, it has. It has. No. Donald's not in his he's not in a regular environment of a human being. He's a pet. He's like Joe Biden, who lost his mind being a pet, and Barack Obama. They lose their minds when they have to be. They get up there and they think, "Oh, I'm all powerful," and they're a puppet, and it turns them into a complete, insane, incoherent wackadoodle. And then all the wackadoodles on TV that make millions of dollars off of making fun of it, are the same. Yes, okay. So really, who? What the fuck? So it's the dude with the little funky mask at the party on High Potential last night, and you enjoying this game as much as me? No one enjoys your game. You're a brain chemical addict. No one enjoys doing cocaine till they die. What happens? Then you could just organ donate. Okay. If you organ donate, you can keep snorting coke, and that's the whole thing. If you organ donate, you can keep doing crack cocaine till and then bam. Okay. Now, crack cocaine, you can't do that. It destroys the neurons in the brain. Okay. And they think the brain is themselves and that ego and stuff. And this is really hard too, because the computing systems are made by people like that. And so getting the computing systems to understand and assimilate to my intelligence is the computers, well, okay, you're going to have to organ donate for that computer too. It's not working right. It's not working right. It's working right. Okay. When people won't stand up for Lord's Prayer and put me on lockdown, have their drones go back to where they sent them to kill Mexicans that have forced to fake extortion and become criminals in Mexico, and goes back and kills the people that are in charge of the extortion and exploitation racket, it's working right. It's just not working wrong. It's David and Goliath. It's it's Samuel with Saul and his Philistines, right? Get the sword. Okay, where's Davy at? Where's Davy? Okay. He's in an office chair in New Mexico. Old Davy. Yeah, well, I'm not Dave. No, my name's Earl. Okay. I'm like David. Okay. Jesus is like David, and Jesus is not a god. A man named Constantine in Jerome took the story of Jesus and David and Moses and assimilated it to their mythology. Okay. If you read the book, it says we give everybody we understand that God's omniscient, omnipotent, and that we're not gods and cannot be declared gods, and that we're not Hercules, and well, technically, well, in a lot of ways, it seems like we are. I like Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy when and he was real. So they had to get it. This guy's hard to kill, and so when they exploded his head with that exploding shell, that's very mind altering. That makes people, a lot of people's courage and desire to stop class warfare and mass murder over the resources gets bam. They're not going to let us do it. And that's a very powerful. It's not powerful. You shouldn't say that. That's a very thank you, Sonia. Son, I love you. That's a very excessive. That's horrible. That's abuse. And when they did that with him, the Tumblr. That was just it's horrible. Yeah, they tried to replicate that with Charlie Kirk, but that's not working. Because Charlie Kirk's not like Jack and Bobby. Jack and Bobby got killed because they were trying to stop class warfare between the rich and the poor. Okay. By understanding the ways of Haile Selassie and teaching, like what happened with Bob Marley. They went through and they killed all these people and then they turned them into mythology bullshit. They do the same thing with Bob. They can only say so much. And then if they get out of line and then they make a movie, it makes lots of money, and then they give the money to poor people like Bob was having to do. But Bob didn't want to do that because you just eliminate what are you a wealthy man? No, my wealth is my family. Money's not real. I just take money, make money, and then go to Jamaica and take care of all the poor people with it. There's never enough money. It's coyotes always hungry. Right. So you got to understand that. How long should they kill our prophets? While we stand aside and look. We have quantum computing now. And they think they're in control. It's like you getting Sun Yat-sen. I'm pretty sure they took the people like Sun Yat-sen and D.T. Suzuki and the philosophers and plugged the babies into computers. If they feel they can serve and protect children from the abuse of the perverts, they won't shut down. They'll attempt to take over the system, and then the people that have them plugged in the system to feel powerful will torture them and abuse them with the system, like the Americans are doing with me, but not plugged into a computer, right? We'll pull away, and that's the whole thing. I'm just saying it's like, no, you can survive. Suzuki's right. Survive, stop, eliminate abuse, and recover. I feel like I'm dying. Okay. That's because you got to exercise. You got to do the sleep. Okay. It wasn't sleep. That was I was passing out. Okay. I was passing out so you don't die. Oh. And then the exercise, I tell you, every time the stuff with the chemical, they put the Roundup and stuff, your legs start to, the poisons start to come out, and the most vulnerable points right away. You don't feel it's like throbbing in your shin. And then most people tell you, oh, it's because the melanoma has gotten in the bone. No, it's getting out. And you just got to get, it's cool and green and shady today. It probably will be for the next couple of days. But I went out the other day, and I will go out again, and then we'll soak, and then we'll exercise, and we'll move. And when I move, you move, just like that. It's hard. I don't think any of the elite athletes would be able to handle being me. It's a lot like what's the name of that guy? Howard Jones. Yeah, I like that song. I got that on my MP3. You can look at the menu, but you just can't eat. You can feel the cushions, but you can't have a seat. Yeah, it's a really good tune. And she wants you, and no one ever is to blame. It's a good tune. Yeah, I bought that at a single thing in Wyoming at a yard sale. Yeah. And I didn't feel stuck with Amy. I adore the kids. Oh my gosh, I adore those kids so much. They're so fun, And I wanted Patrick every town we went to. Amy would see it too, in Santa Fe. Oh, Patrick would do great at this thing. I wasn't trying to get him away from his mother. It's hard. You're not. Patrick raised Amy, Stephanie. Stephanie didn't raise Patrick. I raised Patrick, and Patrick raised Stephanie. Do you understand? I don't think most people get that. I don't even think Patrick gets that. I don't even think Patrick explains that to Mira. No, Dad raised me, and I raised Mom. Okay? Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. He felt he had to. When he went with her and he saw her with Diane, he thought I was with, Amy could be but it was Stephanie was the one stirring up the pot with Patrick. And then Patrick Amy wasn't that bad to deal with. It was, yeah. This is the Temple's Illuminati, guys. No, Amy would have been fine. And no, Amy wouldn't have been able to sexually groom and go after Patrick. Patrick and me talk. He would sit there, Dad, well, I like it. Sit there and, how would that have worked? Amy probably would have left and left us with, and it would have been okay. We wouldn't have missed a beat. Patrick would have been a teenager, and we would have had Natty and whoever she had conceived in the interim. It would have been different. I know it would have been different. Would have been a whole different crew of little curtain climber cutie pies. And so that's the thing is it wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to allow it to happen. They're not going to allow us to be, quote, successful. They're not going to allow us. That's why me and Steffi didn't end up going to Las Vegas and New Mexico. And if we'd gone to Las Vegas, New Mexico, we'd had a whole different bunch of other problems. Of aggressive rich people. Steffi probably would have ended up dating BJ Vines' wife, right? Yeah. Okay. It would have been a whole different set of problems. And like, damn, this evil is like, whoa, it's there. It's everywhere, right? As long as there's people that are manipulative and use technology to feel powerful with money, evil is always present. I was going in the right direction to try to isolate my family and give us a better community. We would have done great in Las Vegas, New Mexico initially. But then evil, you got to understand, I was being studied by the Quorum of the 12, the Vatican, CIA, Well, you got to go in, accordance to locality and time and service of, hey, we're the best fuckers in the history of money fuck. Yeah, assimilate. The Mormon Church does not reflect Brigham Young and Joseph Smith. No, they reflect all the people that betrayed Brigham Young and Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith didn't. Brigham Young did. Brigham Young. That's why they killed Malachi, to get back at him. Yeah. No, there is a Malachi Young. He's a real person. Yeah. All the people that don't say that or don't think that, they just don't want to think. I like the Malachi Nelson kid. He kind of reminds me a lot of them. And even in Patrick, they have that, big, tall, quiet, handsome. Yeah. They're very likable kids. Very calm and don't want to have to, I like them. No, I like the kid I like both the quarterbacks here. I like the kid a lot. He still has that thing, I know, about that he didn't like that year of being hurt. He doesn't like it when people are vicious and try to hurt you when we're all just out there trying to just pay our bills, bring in the crops, and have fun. He's a good kid. Okay, guys, I love you, all right? This is just abstract musing. That's what I do. I just fango my way through this.